We humans long for love. We are virtually starving for it. So how do we get loved? Through athletic success? Prestige? By driving the super sports car and being super rich? Or by beauty, attractive clothes and cosmetics? But do you really think that those things will make you more likable and your relationships happier? I don't think so. In fact, I am convinced that already your approach to the topic of loving is flawed. Love is not something you can attain, especially not real love. Love is something you give, but not to anyone but to yourself. Without mastering the art of self-love, you are not capable to really love someone else, and I will explain why, so that you can start living a more fulfilling life with yourself and your loved ones. Therefore, throughout this video, I want you to reflect upon yourself and which way you are loving. Ask yourself if you, deep down in your heart, really think that you are worthy of being loved, or if you live with a constant underlying feeling of not being enough. The German psychoanalyst and philosopher Erich Fromm states in his book The Art of Loving that loving is an art that can be learned. Most people have not learned the art of loving. They want to be loved but are not capable of loving. Most people go by the trend, by what is hot and the trend on the so-called dating market. They try to attain love by making themselves as appealing and attractive to others as possible. Some of you might think now, well, it's obvious that pretending for other people won't lead to a fulfilling relationship. Tell me something new. And I agree with you 100%. But if it's that obvious, why do the majority of people engage in relationships that are predestined to fail or even stay with their abusive and toxic partners? The reason is that we humans are the only living beings who know about the finiteness of our existence. This gives rise to a feeling of isolation and separateness from the world in all of us. Erich Fromm sees separateness as the source of anxiety. He sees the antidote to dealing with fear and love. We all therefore long for love. It gives us the strength, together with a loving partner, to overcome our loneliness, which is anxiety-provoking at its deepest core. Yes, even to make something beautiful out of it. The awareness of human separation without reunion by love is the source of shame. It is at the same time the source of guilt and anxiety. How foolish then is it of us humans to place this basic existential conflict in the hands of other people, to put ourselves, so to speak, willfully at their mercy? How foolish is it to make love dependent on whether we receive it from someone else? It is foolish indeed. However, for most people, the state of deep-seated loneliness and aloneness is so unbearable that they enter into relationships to suppress that very feeling, even if this relationship is destined to fail. How many people do you know that were overjoyed and felt almost ecstatic in the first few weeks or months of their new relationship? I bet a lot of them broke up after a few more weeks, and that is because they do not understand the source of their longing for love. Deep down, they are lonely and have the constant underlying feeling of having to give something to be loved. You are not dependent on the love of other people. You can fill in the void in your heart yourself. Erich Fromm writes in this regard, infantile love follows the principle, I love because I am loved. Mature love follows the principle, I am loved because I love. Immature love says, I love you because I need you. Mature love says, I need you because I love you. Think about a person who did not have the pleasure of unconditional parental love as an infant. He never got to feel this mature and purest kind of love. He has no model to follow. This person has never been loved for what he is, namely himself. He lives with the constant underlying feeling of not being enough. As mentioned before, this gives rise to shame, guilt, and fear. Without understanding and feeling this underlying sense of uncertainty in the world first, you won't be able to overcome your incapability to truly love a person. Unfortunately, only a few people have ever experienced pure parental love. This means that this feeling of uncertainty still lingers in the deeper layers of the unconsciousness of most people. The antidote to all of this, as mentioned before, is love. So start loving yourself, and I don't mean self-loving in a narcissistic way, but that you should set out on the path of self-acceptance. You are worth to be loved and you are good enough. How can anyone else love you if you can't even love yourself? Love that is given to you from the outside from someone else can also be taken away from you from someone else. Love that you give to yourself, no one can take away from you. Dive deep into your soul and try to grasp the uncertainty and fear of being alone in your heart. Only by understanding and experiencing this will you be free from the affection of other people. Only then can you truly master the art of loving.